Hi, this is Andrew Steinman, and I'm going to share now how the gradual release model fits in with flipped instruction. So up until this point, you've learned about what flipped instruction is, how it works, just some of the basics around it. And prior to today's session, you learned about gradual release. And right now, I'm going to try to show you how those really mix together. And at first, you might think that they're kind of conflicting, but really they work well hand in hand, and it goes beyond just one part of the gradual release model. I think flipped instruction fits really well at all stages of gradual release. So looking at those four different phases, we have focused lesson, guided instruction, collaborative learning, and independent tasks. And when looking at this image on the right-hand side, you can also see that there's a visual representation of this, that the teacher goes from the deliverer of content, that sage on the stage, to the guide on the side, eventually to where students are applying what they've learned independently from the teacher. And with the flip model, you do have that transition from sage on the stage to guide on the side, just happens a little bit differently. And I think that working together with gradual release and flipped instruction, you can provide a high quality learning environment for students. If you look at these different phases of the gradual release model, again, you can apply flipped instruction to all of these phases. And Craig and I will talk about that more at the February 17th date. I don't want to focus on it too much because there's really just one part I want to focus on right now. And I want to start off just with a question. And this isn't one you have to discuss with a partner. This is just something to reflect on by yourself, is where do you think that flipped instruction fits best? Especially when you're making those videos. Let's just focus on the videos. So when you're making those videos for your flip lesson, where do you think they fit in with the gradual release model? Is it for the focused lesson, guided instruction, collaborative learning, or independent tasks? So what do you think? And I'm sure you've already thought about it, and you've probably said either the focused lesson or guided instruction. And that is true that it could fit in with guided instruction, but we're not really going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about the videos with your focused lesson. So in the focused lesson, just to recap on that, the purpose of the focused lesson is to establish the purpose for learning. So you're talking about not only what is being learned, but also the why. And through that process, you're modeling your thinking to students. So using those, I wonder, I think, I predict, that's the type of terminology that you use to demonstrate your thinking to students as you're going through that focused lesson. And there's different ways that you can deliver that direct instruction to students. And so there's 4 examples here. There's the direct explanation, demonstration, think alouds, and write alouds. So those are just 4 different examples here. And what we've done is we've actually included video examples of these different ways to do a focused lesson through flipped instruction. So if you go back to the Google Doc, you'll see that there's the 4 different examples here, and they're all linking to a video that you can watch to see an example of what does it look like with flipped instruction to do a demonstration or to do a think aloud. So what I want you to do is actually choose 2 of those examples to watch. Some of the videos are a little bit longer than others. So maybe just watch the videos for maybe about 2 minutes or so, just to get an idea of what's being taught and how it's being taught through video. I just want you to understand what it might look like if you were to create your own flipped instruction videos. So you're going to watch 2 of those videos. Feel free to watch more if you have the time, but watch at least 2 of those examples. And after you've done so, I want you to have another discussion with your partner. And with this discussion, I want you to talk about what would your video focused lesson look like. So you've already shared an idea for a flipped instruction lesson. Okay, and you've talked about some of the hurdles that you might have to overcome. Now I really want you to focus on just the video piece. Okay, so what is that video going to look like? what do you need to focus on with your direct instruction in order for you to have that full flipped lesson with your students? Okay, and so you might even need to go back and adjust what your flipped lesson looks like. Feel free to do that. You can do that after you've had this discussion with your partner. But right now, just focusing on what does the video look like, and what do you have to do to prepare for that video. For example, if you're looking at this video, Craig and I had to make a full slide deck before actually making our videos. And so if you were doing something like, we'll say, a think aloud, as you're reading something, you want to make sure you have the actual text in front of you. And if you're doing that through a screencast, you need to have it in a digital form, or if you're using a camera, make sure that you have the physical copy plus your camera equipment. So there's some planning that goes into making these videos, and I want you to start that planning process right now. Because when you get into the next section, Craig's going to teach you about the different tools that you can use when creating your flipped instruction videos, and you'll actually have an activity where you get to create your own. So this is just kind of the precursor to that. So after you finish your discussion with your partner about what your video focus lesson would look like, go in and update the Padlet. So you have to go in, find your name, update your note, and just add to the bottom what that focus lesson would look like. Okay, and after you've done so, you can move on to the next section with Craig. He's going to do an awesome job teaching you about the different technology and tips you can use with flipped instruction.